right. Now we're getting to requirements for the upper house, the more important house. A little bit different.
Yep. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Again, we're just assuming he, because yes.
So 5 years older than the representative.
5 years older, and in this case, you have to have been a voting or you have to have been a citizen since voting age, because 9 years would get you back to the original age of 21. And it's partially because of the aristocracy thing. It's partially because of the longer term thing that the requirements are slightly higher. I genuinely don't think there's that huge of a difference between the two that I'm all that worked up about it.
So unlike, so you wouldn't mind at 25 being, or do you like 30?
I wouldn't mind senator at 25. I don't think it's that big a difference either way. I wouldn't want it older, but I wouldn't care if it were younger. I do like, we'll get to the requirements for president. I do like that the president has to be even older than this, because I do think that's a job where there are fewer checks on you. But even as a senator, you're still currently one of 100 people. Even in those days, you were one of 26 people. There was only so much damage any one person was going to be able to do.
Yeah. I remember here, I forget this last part of this thing. It's funny. I think it was the 2004 election or 2006. I forget when it was for Illinois. That when Obama was running for senator, his opponent, I think, people were saying his opponent wasn't even from Illinois. He's running for senator.
Yeah, but you don't have to be. You know, I forget how long he'd been living in Illinois at that point. He had been a member of the Illinois, House of Representatives, the Illinois state legislature.
Obama had been?
Yeah, Obama had been a member of the Illinois legislature when he spoke at the Democratic National Convention, which I saw live, because I'm a huge DNC watcher. It's fascinating stuff. He was the keynote speaker the year he was running for senator, which the story of Obama becoming a senator is weird and complicated, and I will be getting to it in one of my own articles coming up soon, because I'm writing about Deep Space Nine people soon, and it's directly relevant to Deep Space Nine. But anyway, he was a member of the Illinois legislature when they had him deliver his keynote speech at the DNC, and it launched that man's career. Yeah, that man can give a speech.
Yeah, but like I said, I thought it was weird at the time that his opponent wasn't even from Illinois. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, his opponent had been shipped into Illinois specifically to run against him for, again, very complicated reasons that tangentially involve Deep Space Nine.
I was like, can you get a Republican from the party that's from the state? Apparently not.
No. Well, I believe they were specifically looking for a black Republican too, and that's challenging. And Obama won his Senate seat with 90% of the Illinois vote.
Yeah. Was it 04 or 06? 06. See, I know he didn't serve this whole term because 4 years later, he's president.
Oh gosh, let me look it up real quick, because what I specifically remember is Jon Stewart saying that what that proved was that 10% of the state of Illinois was wearing tinfoil hats.
Yeah, me and my dad used to watch the Daily Show things back in the day.
I still watch it.
Yeah.
It was 2004.
So yeah, he's just in there for 4 years before he decided, you know what, I'm going up in the world.
Yeah, And then their governor tried to sell his seat and is now in prison, I believe. So Illinois politics are a thing. They are their own whole conversation. The sheer number of former Illinois governors who have gone to prison is astounding. But yeah, you don't have to have lived. Hillary Clinton only lived in New York for a couple of years. Like, she declared residency in New York while her husband was still president and ran for Senate in 2000.
Yeah.
And won.
I guess she couldn't stay. I guess at that point, down in Arkansas, she couldn't run for senator there, I guess maybe.
I think she theoretically could have, but I don't think she wanted to. You know, it's she's not initially from Arkansas.
Unlike her husband was.
Yeah, her husband was born and raised there. She was, in fact, born in Illinois. She was born in Chicago.
So I guess that's one of the few reasons why that even though he was Democrat, he still got his home state, southern states. He was still from the South.
Yeah. Clinton was born and raised in Arkansas. He was the governor of Arkansas for years. He is Southern. But it is true that moving into a state to run for Senate there does not reliably go well for you. Dr. Oz tried it, failed. But you don't have to be born in that state. There's no requirement, which is, in my opinion, absolutely reasonable. You know, people in this country move. And someone recently expressed astonishment because they found out that I'm not a native Washingtonian. But I've lived here my entire adult life. I moved to Washington at age 18.
Yeah, I still think I think it's at least living there personally. This is my opinion, of course. At least a year to get to know your state.
Also agree that there should be a minimum number of years you live there, because I do think you should get to know at least some of your state.
Yeah, the same thing. I guess representatives, at least you have to live in the state a bit, even though it's not the same district. But the whole state doesn't live there. That's a whole different story there.
Yeah, like Wyoming, fine. But I do think it helps to get to know your state before you become its senator. And yeah, it's hard. I grew up in the third largest state in the United States. And it is true that living your entire life in one part of the state doesn't really help you know large amounts of the rest of the state. You know, the needs of San Diego and the needs of Eureka are so vastly different. San Diego is on the border with Mexico. Eureka is on the border with Oregon, roughly. So we're talking, I believe it's 1,300 miles. Oh, no. That's the full distance down to my mom's house from here. No, it's like 800 or 900 miles north to south along California. California is a very long, skinny state. And the needs of one area of the state are very, very different from the needs of another. That being said, I do think having lived in California for a while helps you a lot more than if you spent your entire life in Alabama, moved to California, and run for Senate.
Yeah. I should for it. I was gonna ask. There is no representative district in California that goes from top to bottom on one line. Is there?
Oh God, no!
It's not that far.
No,
This whole
I don't think there's any way to do that would have the number of people that are in a district in California, even if you went along the far eastern edge of the state.
yeah, the entire coastline of California is one district.
Oh, you can't do the coast. There's no way you could do the coast unless you literally were like, it's a 10-foot wide district, because San Francisco is on the coast. Parts of Los Angeles are on the coast. San Diego is on the coast. The coast is the really heavily populated part of the state. You'd have to do the eastern half where it's all mountains and a lot fewer people live. But even there, you're hitting Lake Tahoe. So, no, there's no way you could have that district. That just mathematically, I don't think is possible.
But overall, anything else to say about this?
No,
is it
it's
simple?
pretty straightforward.
Live in the United States for 9 years. Be at least 30 years old.
Will be a citizen for 9 years, which is not the same as living in the country for 9 years.
Oh, so you get that. So if you're an immigrant, you have to be a registered immigrant through here. You have to stay. You would have to
you have to have legal citizenship 9 years before you can run for senator. So, like I said, I've got an aunt who is almost at the point where she could be a senator, and she and my uncle moved back to the U.S. in the 80s. Late 80s, early 90s, but she just got her citizenship 7 or 8 years ago. So she can't be senator yet, despite having lived in the state longer than a lot of people I know have been alive.
But like me and you, if we had wanted to, as soon as we hit 30, we could have run for senator.
Yeah. Because we were born citizens. Which we'll get to.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all for this section. We'll see you in the next part. Until then.